Hello and welcome to another fun-filled, great, fantastic, wonderful. Trying to think of other great superlatives. College football stream. How you guys doing?
Hey, doing great. The mood might be stepped down a notch once we get to the Iowa State section.
Oh,
But for now, great.
Fantastic. 2 thumbs up. Excellent. Exactly.
Yep.
So,
Yep.
I would say mine might falter a little before that once we get to the playoffs, but we'll get to that in a second. I would say, Joe, you want to hit them with the socials quick?
Huck the Foskers.
Jeez.
Twitter and Instagram. What?
I said that's not our Twitter at all.
Sure it is. It's gotta be now. Twitter and Instagram at Heartland Pulse. You can find us on Facebook. Just search Pulse of the Heartland. If you're watching us right now live on YouTube, we do that every Monday, usually Wednesday, Thursday, but we'll move things around a little bit here and there. But yeah, check us out live on YouTube. Just search Pulse of the Heartland, usually 8:30 Central Time. And then, as we mentioned before, we are on inthezone.studio. That's our new group name that we're a part of. Go there, check out all the other blogs and stuff, but make sure to look us up on that and see the Pulse of the Heartland podcast. So yeah, inthezone.studio. And that's it. Man, that's becoming a mouthful. I'm not used to that.
Yeah.
I need a drink.
Heartland Pulse. It's in the zone.
And I'm saying, if you're also watching on YouTube, it's scrolling across the bottom the whole damn time. So if you miss it at that point, you're just not paying attention.
That's right.
We'll still take the view. We'll be okay with the stream, the view, the listen, everything.
Yep.
So,
Watch us tonight, tomorrow morning. Get on Spotify. Play it on 3.5 times speed.
There you go.
Whatever. I don't care.
You can get your hot takes that sound like chipmunks. How about that?
That's right.
So.
Yep.
But yeah, I would say, Joy, what you drinking tonight?
Like
chipmunks. How about that?
Right.
It's one of the greatest rivalry weeks in the nation this week. It's Iowa versus Nebraska. So I want something real Heartland. Busch Light.
Okay.
Bush.
All right, you recovered it at the end, because I wouldn't say Iowa-Nebraska is a great rivalry when one side wins all the time.
I like this guy.
I'm just pointing out facts right now.
Yep. And also, first and foremost, I want to apologize to Don Play if you're watching. Your Bowling Green bet is not hitting. Sorry, bud.
No, shoot. We'll make it up for him with our better bets, because once we get to our locks of the week and not Maction, because I don't think either of us really watch Maction other than in the background.
No.
I'd say we'll get him some better winners this
That's
the end of the pod here.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I would say, Joey, actually, since you brought up that it's rivalry, that kind of brings into the the trivia question we had here. So there's 2 different answers, but I'm kind of just looking for the FBS one. In rivalry week in college football, who has the longest tenured rivalry game in college football history?
Harvard and Yale.
That's gotta be it. Yeah, I'm gonna go Harvard Yale.
Harvard Yale. Both incorrect. Joey, you should kind of be ashamed. This is a Big Ten rivalry that is the longest tenured.
Is it Ohio State, Michigan?
No, it is Minnesota, Wisconsin. They've played 131 times, I believe. Yeah, 131 games. And then just for the FCS, there is one between Lehigh and Lafayette, which I know nothing about, but they've played 157 games, which is just incredible. I mean, that's 1870, 1880, just to do some quick math here.
Wow.
So almost damn near right when college football started. So no, a little Big Ten in there for you.
Thanks. Appreciate it.
So, but yeah, so I would say we alluded to it at the beginning, and this kind of determined my mood about an hour before the pod went off, the playoff rankings. So if in case you didn't catch the show or you're not watching it live, we got Georgia at 1, Ohio State 2, Michigan 3, TCU at 4, which is the same. They're all undefeated still. Then it gets a little weird. Number 5, we got 2-loss LSU. And number 6, we got 1-loss USC, who just beat a ranked opponent. And then number 7 is 2-loss Alabama. So apparently those wins versus UAB and Austin P really elevated these SEC schools this weekend.
Sure did, man.
Quality wins.
Exactly.
I think more importantly with LSU and Bama, they have the quality losses that they have. They lost to a, when you lose to a mediocre Florida State team at the beginning of the year, that the longer we get away from it, the more going, what the hell were they doing in that entire game? I think they were just drunk being in New Orleans that whole time.
Right.
No, we talk about the quality wins, the quality losses. They have the quality patch. It goes about right here on their jersey, which has 3 letters on it. That's the quality.
It spells quality and perfection right there. SEC.
Yes.
So yeah, I was I caught that right before I was playing a little Call of Duty and missed the show, but I usually just catch the updates on Twitter, and I get it. Tennessee moved down because they'd had a pretty bad loss this weekend. But how do you justify LSU staying ahead of USC that has one loss by 1 point on the road versus a ranked team when you have a team that has 2 losses in front of it in LSU? That makes absolutely no sense. LSU got just destroyed versus Tennessee, and like I said, that might have been. I mean, LSU in that first game has looked like Iowa State the whole year with special teams mistakes and some of the stupidest mistakes you've ever seen in your life. And how they're at number 5 is beyond me. Other than SEC bias,
they've looked good since then. I mean, other than like you're saying that Tennessee game, but man, I know they beat Alabama. I don't think that's enough, even if you have 2 losses, to like catapult you into the top 5. That's stupid, especially over the USCs, especially over the Clemsons. Clemson has only lost to Notre Dame, and USC, who did they lose to? I don't remember. But anyway, both still only have 1 loss. And Trent mentioned it earlier with that patch on the shoulder. If they weren't SEC, they'd be fucked right now, just like everybody else.
Mm-hmm. I mean, and that's the thing where they're, it's kind of, I get the strength of schedule as well, but they're going to go, well, Clemson lost to one of their only good teams in Notre Dame. Well, LSU and Bama only lost to their good teams. So, I mean, how do you rank the 2 losses? I haven't heard one good argument yet about how the SEC 2 losses is better than an ACC 1 loss and a Pac-12 1 loss, other than the conference affiliation.
Dude, in USC, I got home from that wedding on Saturday night in time to catch most of the second half of that USC UCLA game. And USC looks legit. Dude, right. Caleb Williams, he had almost 400 yards, I believe, going into the fourth quarter. And he ended up with 470 yards. Like, USC looks the part to be able to be in that, the discussion to be in the top 4. Now, it isn't going to happen because let's say TCU loses to Iowa State. Hell, even if TCU beats Iowa State by 50, we've seen it before, they bump down to 6 and to get LSU in. So
see, this is where it doesn't make sense to me, just kind of adding into it. Is I know the committee is thinking, well, they allowed 45 points. Well, they won a shootout, which, if you remember about 6 weeks previous, the Tennessee-Bama game had everyone creaming in their jeans about that shootout. Again, they're using logic on why they can win high-powered offensive, exciting games to watch. Both games were exciting, but why is USC it's detrimental that they allow so many points in one, when Bama has allowed allowed more points and more offense and lost that game? It's insane, man.
Yeah, it makes no sense. What this is doing is just it's setting up LSU to get in.
Yep.
Because they're going to get to the SEC championship game, and if they win it, it's going to be against Georgia, right? Yep. If they win it, the loser of Ohio State, Michigan gets bumped out. LSU comes in. Georgia stays in the top 4. Yep. If LSU beats them in the championship game, 2 SEC teams in. That's what they're doing.
Unless Georgia somehow lost to Tech and LSU, they're in. I don't care. They've been the best team all year. But again, this would be the perfect 12-team playoff this year. We haven't seen a dominant, remember USC back in the day, just undefeated. No one was even remotely close with Reggie Bush and Lendale White. Or Texas with Vince Young that year. those were two clearly the best teams. But there's so much parity now. This would be the perfect 12. Okay, we can have these 2 and 3 loss teams in there because they've played tough competition. And in my opinion, it doesn't take away from the regular season. If you've lost a couple games, okay, you still have your shot, but you have a tougher path to go through. It's kind of like the lower seeded teams right now remind me of like what Tennessee would be right now in the NFL. They've had a couple bad losses, but guess what? They can compete later in the year, and right now they might be I would say at least top 8. I don't know if I'm going to say top 5 just yet in the NFL, but I mean it reminds me of those where these teams can at least compete late in the year, and they might be able to sneak a couple wins in. And if the top seeds can't win after a bye and everything else, I mean that's the way it's going to be. I guess at that point.
Yeah. What it reminds me of is when, the NCAA tournament plays in March and you have so much parity that you can get seeds from non-traditional power, blue blood teams, and they can come away and, get some upsets. They have to expand it soon.
Hey, share my screen there, Brian.
I got you.
I don't.
You mean like this?
Right.
Like the lower division does?
Yeah.
Weird how they can get it right.
I don't bring up the lower division, Trent. Are you representing someone tonight?
I don't know if you noticed what the number 1 seed is up there. Is that my number 2 team? South Dakota State Jackrabbits?
It is.
There you go. Yeah. Hell yeah. Ears up.
Ears up, baby. Fernson Brewing, Sioux Falls with the South Dakota State ears up. Go big, go blue, go Jacks. There you go.
Damn. Did you just cut a promo for them? Are we getting paid by them?
Well, we are now. I'm going to send this to them, pay us, or I'm never saying this again.
Hell yeah. So I don't know. I think we've harped on enough. Everyone gets our point. It's just,
I got one more thing. How is fucking 7-4 Louisville in at 25 and fucking Iowa's not, and they're on the verge of a Big Ten championship?
Yep.
Blows my mind.
I mean, how's 7-4 Texas? There are so many teams with better winning records and better resumes. It's just, I think they literally just go, which would bring us the most money? If they would just say that, that's what's wrong with it. There's no transparency, and the rules are ever changing. And because of no transparency, they literally said, why is Clemson ranked as high as they are? They go, they got some dudes. That was their professional analysis on why they are where they are.
Wait,
them dudes got that dog in them.
Yeah, competition or competitions networks.
Ugh, it is so stupid. It takes away the merit of the wins and playing who you play on your schedule. Because if you can just lose 2 games, you change the decal on that helmet from LSU or Bama, and you put Baylor on there. They're 14th. They're not even remotely close to the top 10.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't know. Felt good to get that steam off because for about an hour, I'm just sitting here pulling my hair out how every single time they say Big 12 doesn't get in because you don't have a conference championship. We change our rules. Well, your 1-loss conference champion doesn't get in because we had another 1-loss team that didn't even get to their conference championship game. They get it going. Okay. Well, you need to be undefeated. Now we're undefeated, and we're talking about how a 2-loss team from a different conference might sneak in. It's just complete dog shit. Get us to the 12th team sooner than later.
Mm-hmm. I feel that.
So, other bad news. NCAA football game's not coming out next year. It's coming out in 2024.
Yep. Just saw a tweet today that said, where do we riot?
Yep. I agree, dude.
Don't be pushing this back on us.
The one thing I've heard is that it's not going to be a Madden clone, which is, thank God. I haven't enjoyed Madden in years, so.
But if it gets me a football game faster, give me a Madden clone for a year and then make it a different game after that. Like
this was supposed to be the consolidation that they had. They go, we're going to start paying athletes money. Some of you aren't going to like it, but you're going to get an NCAA football game, and then they just delayed it another year. It wouldn't surprise me if in I think 26 or 27 when the 12-team playoff was supposed to start, they go, oh, we're still in development. We're going to push it back another year. It just every single time they have something good in front of us, they snatch it away.
Right.
We got to wait till we nail this playoff correctly. Then we'll get the game in. Yeah.
By that point, Trent will be commentating Jackrabbits games on the game with that promo that he just cut.
Go big, go blue, go Jacks. It says it right here on the can. I mean, come on.
I would love for this little side gig that we've all started to lead into one of us getting like some professional commentating job or some shit. That would be awesome.
Color commentator for a
I actually think it's the sound of my voice that's holding me back so far, but that's neither here nor there. Oh shit! So no, that sucks. Well, and speaking of things that sucks, and actually we had hardly no one to talk about it. This is kind of Joey's segment. The awards semifinalists. There were
motherfucking fuck.
Hold on. There's quite a few Hawkeyes that were on the awards. Jack Campbell was nominated for quite a few. Xavier was winning the Biliknikov. I can never mind it. But best wide receiver. There's a decent amount of Iowa and Iowa State. Well, player for Iowa State, but players for Iowa that made it, except for one crucial one, Joey.
Yeah, you mentioned Jack Campbell, Drew Stevens, the kicker.
Yep.
I'm looking through Sam Laporta for tight end, who's out this weekend. I just found that out. Thanks for bringing that up, Bryant and Dave.
Yep.
Just more great news for the start of the podcast. Then I'm scrolling through and I'm looking more. Jack Campbell's on another list. Looking, and I don't see any other Iowa guys. You know what that fucking means? Fucking Tory goddamn Foot of Gold Taylor didn't make the fucking semifinals for the best punter. Fuck that shit. It is so stupid. So goddamn stupid.
I'd say that's more egregious than the playoffs that I was upset about.
Yes. So I know I sent everyone stats last night. Where the hell do they go now?
But basically, while you're looking it up, Tory has every top punting stat. Maybe not the highest average, but excuse me, the important stats.
Yep. So
did you send it in one of our things today that was like the finalist? He has a longer average, a longer long, more inside the 20s than anybody on the list.
Yeah. And so he's got 69 punts, 45.3 average, long of 70, 28 inside of the 20. All those stats, he's leading everybody. Like, there's no one even fucking close. And not only if you break it down farther, but inside the 20, but inside the 10 and inside the 5, he has double the next two guys put together. How, in Christ's name, does Tory Taylor not make the semifinal list? He should be up for Heisman. Good Lord.
These, like I said it last night, these end of the year awards mean nothing when it comes to stats. It really doesn't. It is, what team does this guy play on? It has nothing to do. Which punting, it could be like, okay, he played for Iowa. They punted a lot.
Yes,
good for him.
Yeah, that's the whole joke of the team.
Well, and you have the number one rated defense in the nation. How do you think they get their starts on the drives? With a great fucking punt that comes from Tory Taylor's foot. If you listen to this goddamn podcast throughout the whole season, awards people, you would know how great he is. So suck a fat one, douchebags.
Ooh, we need to get more. We need to get more of the committee members to listen to this pod. Then we're going to start changing some things.
Yeah,
yep,
exactly. I think I would have pissed off most Iowa administration people this year, and now committee people. So.
Joey, the way you really make a splash in these types of arguments, because Tory Taylor's Australian, right?
Yep.
You just say they're xenophobic because they don't like a foreigner winning the award, and all of a sudden you're going to start getting some real traction with that argument.
Hell
dude.
yeah. Hell
and then start drinking a Foster's.
Brilliant. Yeah.
A dingo ate my baby. What other shrimp on the Barbie?
Shrimp on the Barbie. Oh, Lord, I have a terrible accent.
Crikey.
Yeah. Boomerang. Okay, we got our Australian out.
It was Steve Irwin Day, like last Wednesday, by the way. Just saying.
I legitimately say there's how many? 300 million Americans right now, 330 or something. If they were to say, we're going to start an army in honor of Steve Irwin's family, 200 million people would sign up for that army immediately over the U.S. Army. There's so many people that would fight for that guy. How are we're just disrespecting our Australians here by not putting this guy in the punting list. And sign me up for Steve Irwin's army.
Man,
People our age, man, grew up with him.
Yes. I tell you what, if I had a car dealership in the Iowa City, Cedar Rapids corridor strip, I would be paying all the NIL money to fucking Tory Taylor right now.
Come down to Mahoski's car dealership. We're punting high prices out of the state.
Trent, you're amazing at this. Cut a promo for my beard. Just do it. Give me some.
You give me a minute. I'll get some.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, you could come up with maybe like punt yeah instead of fuck yeah or something. I mean, we'll workshop some things. We'll start putting some money. He'll be the first NIL athlete of Pulse of the Heartland.
Right.
Pulse punters. Here we go.
We've got like $43.50 we could give him right now.
That matches his average punt. Perfect.
It's a match made in heaven. Perfect.
Exactly.
Let's get him on here.
Tori, we're going to pay you
multiple times. Don't doubt that.
DM him right now. Get him on. Send him the link to this.
There's a reason I couldn't tag him in the retweet I did last night because I'm pretty sure he blocked me from reaching out.
The stalker is just, but he was asking where I live and if he could have a piece of my hair. I didn't like it one bit.
It started with being on the podcast. He agreed, and then it just got weird.
Oh shit. Well, I'd say this is good news for the Big 12. I don't know so much about us right now, but Kansas and Lance Leopold, within the last hour or so, it was announced that they agreed to a new contract. So they haven't released what the details or pay per year is, but they've locked him in Kansas until 2029.
Yeah, so not going to Nebraska because I know he was a big name in those talks.
Yep.
But
you know what that means? Huck the Fuskers.
So I got to look up.
Hold on, Joey. That actually means, while Trent's looking that up, that means Nebraska's a worse job than Kansas right now.
Yeah, that's fine.
You're starting to chub a little bit once I said that, didn't you?
Yeah, yeah. I don't even know what to say. I'm like Peter Griffin over here.
They're not the Jayhawks anymore, remember? They're the dinosaur parrots or whatever they are.
Oh, yeah, the dinosaur parrots.
They're the dinosaur parrots. So here's the thing with KU. They started hot. They got 5 straight wins, started 5-0. And they got their 6th win. They beat Oklahoma State when they were 18th in the country.
Yep.
But they've lost 5 out of 6.
Yeah.
Kansas, I think, since the Iowa State game is Kansas again.
And let's look at the Iowa State game. We missed 3 field goals and lost by, was it 1 or 3 points?
Yeah, Kansas looked terrible in that game too. Mm-hmm. So I think they came crashing back down to earth, and they're not as good as their record. I mean,
6 wins at Kansas. I mean, that was the first year that Matt Campbell won 8 games with us. We're going 8 wins, and then he got a 9-game winning season, and you're just once a guy does that, he's established he can at least win there once. So I mean, good on them. It's going to look so much better when we beat them next year. So
that's just it. Like I say, they come crashing back down to earth, but good for them. I think the guy's a good coach. He has them trending in the right direction. I mean, that's great.
Also, the school has finally put a commitment. They're putting in a $300 million addition for that new stadium and everything. So, I mean, he sees a university that's willing to invest money in him and his program. Why not at that point? You are a god right now at 6 wins. This sounds like everyone 5 years ago with Matt Campbell to Iowa State fans. He's a god right now. And if you're Kansas, why not? I mean, at least be relevant for a few years. And honestly, there's no way the next 8 years or 7 years with Leopold could be even remotely close to the last decade of Kansas football.
So they're putting $300 million into their stadium, is what you're saying?
Yeah.
Have you been to that stadium?
Yes. Yeah.
I've been there probably like 6 or 7 times, and it's blah at best. Like they need to sink some money into that thing. They really did.
And I think with the with the money we're getting from the new Big 12 deal, I know it's not a lot more, but I mean that's just to start with it. You know, that's going to bring in donors. Maybe they're finally going to invest some of the money into, from football or from basketball into football. So I don't know. It makes the whole Big 12 stronger. I'm worried because now there's not really I wouldn't say a gimme, other than unfortunately we were this year. We were I wouldn't even say we were really a gimme because we had one score games all the time.
Yeah, not a gimme. No.
So
yeah, I think you guys just had a bad year. I don't think I would say any of your games were gimmies.
It's just the ball never bounced our way. Like just
except in the Iowa game.
True.
99-yard, 35-minute drive ain't luck, Joey.
The Fiesta Bowl year, a lot of those 50-50 balls rolled our way, and now we're just on the other side. I mean, right now, you could make the argument, and I wouldn't argue against it, is we were Nebraska. We're the best win team in the nation because every game's within one score, except for Oklahoma.
Yeah.
So does that mean next year that Matt Campbell's on the Scott Frost hot seat?
No.
God, no. Nope. Let's be
We're
real
not
honest.
Delusional. We know where we came from here.
Yeah, I was gonna say let's just remember, Nebraska, as much as you hate it, Joey, has had national championships in our lifetime.
They have. I've never ever heard those words from anyone from Nebraska in the last 2 weeks.
Well, now
in our lifetime, we mean when we were 5.
Yes.
Yeah.
No.
Regardless, recent history. It's not like. Again, you with Iowa State never having a 10-win season in history, we're going to be okay with an occasional 4-win season. We're not happy, but we're going to tolerate it, So no, unfortunately, Joey, we're not going to get rid of Campbell. I'm sorry.
I mean, that's fine. I hope you don't. I love the Iowa State rivalry. I don't think we touched on this enough last week about people saying that rivalry should go away. That's asinine. Like, that's just stupid.
Yeah. I always hate the argument of, well, we get nothing from it. What the fuck do you mean you get nothing from it?
Exactly.
If you're Iowa, I mean, no offense, if you look at this year, you should have beat the worst team in the Big 12. Instead, you lost to them. Well, if we lose, then it only hurt. It only hurts us. No, it doesn't. It gives you.
Yeah, I hate that too because it drags down our strength of schedule. Well, if you're at Iowa State, who are you going to play? Probably an FCS school.
Okay, Joey, can I talk about delusional Iowa fans for a second? My favorite is they literally go, we need to get rid of Iowa State. We need to be out there scheduling Notre Dame. Notre Dame would tell you to go fuck yourself. Why the fuck would they ever schedule Iowa in the regular season?
Right.
I mean, they're acting like they're just a very coveted team. Like, hey, Alabama, you should play Iowa. You can get all the Southeast Polk recruits. The reason there's these huge national rivalries that we know, Oklahoma, Ohio State in the past, Texas, Alabama this year, it's recruiting. That's all it is. So that's why Iowa State is so important. It's the regional recruiting between the two schools. Who the fuck cares if Iowa plays Miami? It's not like some Tampa Bay kid that wasn't already thinking of going to Iowa's going, well, they beat my Miami Hurricanes. I guess I know where I'm going now. They don't care.
Yeah, and I think that if they played more neutral sites games, like where Wisconsin goes and plays LSU some years and stuff like that, because in my mind, Iowa's right there, maybe like right below Wisconsin as far as job wise, and people should want to go to that school. That's right. That's how I feel, and they're very schematically the same. But if we did more neutral site games and stuff, I mean, we'd get more of a national stage and stuff like that. It's just with Iowa, it's so hard to predict. We usually get between 8 and 10 wins, but it's hard to predict if we're going to have a 10-win team that could, go on for 12 wins and that team needs to get national exposure, or if we're going to have a team that should get 10 wins but then drops down to 6. Like we don't have the consistency of a 10-win team every year, and and this year, God, why the fuck would anyone schedule us with that offense? The way it started anyway. So
yeah. I mean, God, we're just hashing up shit from last week, but that one did kind of irk me. It's just like the delusion. That'd be like Iowa State needs to get rid of Iowa, so that way we can start playing Washington. And they would tell us to go fuck ourselves. Who the hell would want to play us?
Right? Exactly.
I don't know. I think it's a great weekend. The in-state squabbling from it is always. If you're fun with it, it's a great time.
Yeah, Twitter is a cesspool for 7 days.
Yes. Terrible.
Yep.
How the hell did we go from Lance Leopold to this?
Oh, I don't know. Oh, I think we were just talking about
Nebraska, then rivalries.
There we go. Yeah, Nebraska,
Iowa State.
firing.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's how.
So, but yeah, again, one last time, good for Kansas.
Yeah,
Keeps them stronger. When we beat them next year, it'll look even better.
The dinosaur parrots heading in the right direction.
exactly.
We'll recap last week's games real quick. Joey, Iowa beat the Gophers yet again. Floyd of Rosedale is in Iowa City again.
Yeah, Floyd of Rosedale, originally from
Fort Dodge.
Fort Dodge.
Didn't they make a statue in Fort Dodge? Have you seen it? I haven't.
No, but they did make the Rosedale Rapids, the water park, for Floyd.
Yeah.
Nice. So there's that.
Well, there was a dairy there, Rosedale Creamery.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. But for Floyd, we don't care about the rest of it. Just kidding. No, yeah, Iowa looked like they were in control of this game the whole entire time. The score doesn't seem like it was that way, but once they got up 13, I was like, I don't think Minnesota's got the team to come back. So yeah. It was good. I enjoyed the whole game. Watched it all. It was nice to actually watch something.
So David says the statue is at Rosedale Rapids.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Sorry. Going on.
What did you say, Brian?
Minnesota still had a shit ton of rushing, though, in that game, didn't they?
Yeah. I mean, that's exactly what they were trying to do when they got the score close, was just run the ball. And they should have kept passing. I mean, they were doing pretty decent in the first half passing, but I don't know if some guy got hurt or something. But I know Abraham is their big stud on running back, so that's why they went to him.
Oh my Lord. 39 rushes for 263 yards.
Yeah, didn't their running back have 200 some yards?
Yeah, 263.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. He's really, really fucking good.
Mm-hmm.
But couldn't score.
They just didn't row the boat hard enough, huh?
Exactly. And I mean, Iowa's defense is amazing. And I've been talking about that all year, touting it. But at the end of the day, they are a Phil Parker bend but don't break defense.
Yeah.
They will give up yards and they will give up a big play here or there, but they don't let a lot of touchdowns go in. That's for sure.
No, and again, good on them. It is. I mean, and not to poke fun at Iowa too hard, because again, at least they're winning at this part of the year. It is funny that Iowa, we were both roughly at the same place earlier in the year with stumbling, terrible offenses, defenses elite in keeping us in games, and Iowa went one direction and won in the margins and kept winning, and Iowa State didn't. I just think it's funny that the worst team in the Big Ten beat the best team in the Big Ten West.
Oh yeah, and I was thinking about this the other day. If we were doing rivalry week this week, we all made plans for and stuff.
Yeah,
this is the 1 year in a while that I think Iowa would have dominated Iowa State this late in the year.
Yeah,
I think it would have been a way wider margin, and I think Iowa would have won by 2 or 3 touchdowns. Iowa's playing so much better.
I agree. Honestly, years past, that's where every year, if we were playing right now, this Iowa State team would, and we can just never make that argument. I agree 100% that there's no way our defense would stop your offense, but our offense, it would be comically bad. Our offense versus your defense, that would be 2 defensive scores. I can tell you that right now.
Oh, right.
With ease.
Yep. Yeah, in years past, man, you guys have always been playing really well at this time of the year. So, yeah, I think it'd be a much closer game in all those other years.
I bet you it'd be decided by a field goal.
Probably.
It's just how it always fucking works.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, Texas Tech 14, Iowa State 10. Let me know if you've heard this one before, Trent, but our defense kept us in the games. Offense sputtered on the goal line, and we lost a close one.
Haven't heard that since last week.
Yeah, I mean, and 5 times before that earlier in the year. So
yeah,
thankfully, I was celebrating my brother's wedding, so I didn't have to suffer through that one again. I did get some periodic score updates, but Trent, were you able to catch this game or a lot of it or any of it?
I tuned in right at the end of the third quarter, beginning of the fourth quarter, I believe it was, when Texas Tech scored that touchdown to go up 14-10. I mean, it's
Yeah.
and then they get the ball and they're stagnant. Now
Yep.
they get the ball, could go down and win, and they punt with
Yep.
2 minutes and 45 seconds left with one
Hey,
timeout.
I
I didn't understand that.
I love the confidence in our defense, but that was
Yes.
definitely not the time. That just
No.
that literally he might as well have just said, looked at Hunter Deckers and said, "I don't fucking trust you," which he shouldn't. Nothing this year should indicate that he should, but he
Yeah.
might as well have just looked at that kid and said it, and then punted in.
I don't trust you so much that I'm going to give the other team the ball so
Yeah.
we can never have it back.
Yeah. So maybe our defense can force a fumble closer to. I mean, it's the
Yeah.
classic Iowa technique.
Yeah. It was, I did not agree with that. Punting it with 2:45 left with one
It's
timeout. Like,
it makes you feel like they just gave up on this. At that point, they didn't
Yep.
go with maybe we can get to 5 wins and maybe miracle. We're okay with 4-8 this season. That's what it
yeah. I was listening to the Sunday Cyclone Fanatic podcast, and Bloom was giving some stats on this. Did you listen to the podcast?
I missed that one. I only caught the instant react, and like I felt so bad for like I couldn't imagine being, because I've been on the angry drunk Cyclone fan side of it, tweeting at people, and like God, this team bumming me out. I couldn't imagine being a reporter that is just reporting what Campbell and them are saying and everything else, and just like he said, he's like, this is getting too vile. Everyone, like, guys, we're gonna make it another day, and like I would never want to be on that side. But what were some of the stats that Bloom brought up?
So his big thing that he talked about was red zone. So Iowa State is second to last in red zone scoring this percentage this season. Last year, they were second in the nation.
Oh, wow.
So last year they made it to the red zone 49 times, I believe it was, and they scored 47 times. This year,
now, does that include field goals? Does that include field goals and
touchdowns? Okay. Yes, 47 of 49. They were 1 of 5 just Saturday night. They missed 4 times on Saturday. It's just insane. Like, and they said between the 20s, they're statistically as good as any other team. But once you get inside the 20, what changes?
What a great thing to hear. Hey, we're average in the middle of the field, but when it matters most, we shit the bed.
Yeah. Oh.
Get some more Huggies. We pooped our pants again. Just terrible.
I could not believe that stat. I was like, they've missed 2 times as many times on Saturday as they did all of last season.
Yeah. So. I mean, it's just been a consistent kick in the nuts every single time. Like, we get a field goal, I go, cool, it's only a kick in the shin. We're on the 4-yard line and can't push it in. I did hear that we were at least doing some runs under center, and that's been the biggest complaint I've had the last few weeks on doing, running from shotgun. But even then, we couldn't convert on those under center QB sneaks.
And yeah, they touched on that too. They got stopped 5 plays in a row inside the 5-yard line. And you know what they did on the 6th play? The same goddamn thing.
Oh my God.
So, yeah.
That's just atrocious. But, and like I said, thankfully I didn't witness it. So unless you got anything else to say on it, I'll move on. Just a disappointing year. And guess what? I think if we would have said, we talked at the beginning of the year, I think, like, jokingly, like, I think we can get 6-6. If it's a good year, 7-5, 8-4. We're a couple flips of the ball from being that 6-6. We have not won in the margins, and we've lost every 50-50 ball, call whatever you want. I mean, how many wide open dropped Hail Marys have we had that would have put us in the lead? At least 2. So right there,
2.
That's 2 more wins. That's literally 500 at that point.
Yeah.
So, Kansas State 48, West Virginia 31. Clark isn't on, so unless you guys want to speak something on it, just keeps Kansas State in the. I think if TCU is going to have any impressive conference championship game, it needs to be versus Kansas State, because that is the one questionable game on their schedule where they said they got behind so much. and only because they're playing their third string quarterback did they win that game. So if they can get revenge and beat them twice in a row with Adrian Martinez or this Howard, I think that gives TCU the best shot for the playoffs.
Yep. Yeah. All the purple in the Big 12 championship game.
Yep. So
all the
and
purple.
Actually, speaking of TCU, amazing that is, you want to talk about winning in the margins. That's winning in the margin. That's what having a special teams coach does. That is having your team at the fucking ready. That if you watched it, it was so beautiful. They whatever play they ran, offense knew immediately what to do. Sprinted off the field. I think it was 14 seconds or 12 seconds.
Yep. 14.
Yeah, 14 seconds.
Offense sprints off the field. Special teams sprints on. The kicker knows exactly where to stand, where to set himself up at. And everyone that this sounds simple. Well, they're college students. I know, but there's a lot of them that don't have that situational awareness. Sprint out there, kick that field goal as time expires. That was amazing football. I don't know how anyone would hate to have a team like that in the playoffs.
Yep. Yeah. If you have ever played any sport in the world, running on and off that fast of a football field and getting set and getting organized has to be one of the tougher things you can do. Just that's gonna threaten the game type of thing. But yeah, that is extremely fucking difficult to get out there and know exactly where you're going. I thought it was awesome. They said that they practice that every Thursday at the end of practice. That's cool.
Oh, it's the way someone had told me that, they said oh, we practiced that this week because we knew it was going to happen. So if they do it every Thursday, I mean, that's just kind of like the teams you hear Boise State talk about. They used to, on their fun practices, they do the Statue of Liberty play. So they've done it so many times that, it just looked flawless there. So.
Yep. And that's, I heard it was every Thursday.
But that's the type of things that you should practice, because look what it did. It won them a ball game. It kept them undefeated.
You know what? I'll say it one more time, Trent. That's what happens when you have a special teams coach. You have someone that can focus on that minor shit. Because again, a lot of them, probably the linemen are going to be lined up the same, but you can have a coach specifically going around and saying, you're standing here. Our goal is to get on that 35-yard line or 25 or whatever. Once that play is whistled, you are sprinting to your spot out. I mean, if you with no special teams coach, we're going to talk about Iowa State. That's what we could do, and we just don't have. We need to hire the special teams coach.
Yep.
Michigan almost shit the bed versus Illinois, but Illinois is a great defensive team, and you could see it in the score. But Michigan able to pull out and another. I mean, this is what winners do. The tough games, they're able to pull out. I would say, Georgia had struggled during the year versus Missouri. When does Ohio State struggle? Because I'm trying to go through the playoff teams. TCU every
Northwestern.
week.
Yeah, Northwestern. Yeah. Yep. We only thought they were going to win by 85, and that didn't happen.
I'll be honest. Seeing Michigan be able to overcome this type of defense and win makes me feel more confident about Michigan beating Ohio State again this year than Ohio State's overcoming Northwestern.
Yes, I agree with that very much because, like you said, Illinois is a very, very fucking good defense. Only thing that worries me is Blake Corum getting hurt. Man, that's a kick in the nuts. You saw in that second half when he doesn't play, they have to rely on J.J. McCarthy. Dude's going to be fucking phenomenal in the next few years, but he's a freshman and he's making bad decisions and bad plays. So, we'll see what J.J. does moving forward. But, if Blake Corum's not in the game this weekend, that's a tough game to pick, and I think Ohio State wins that. If Corum's in there and they can keep the ball moving and churning it down the field, I think it's Michigan's game to lose. But we'll get into that in a little bit. Any thoughts on that one, Trent?
Didn't see it, but like I said, I was at a wedding as well on Saturday, so I didn't see any of it. But the score is what surprised me. I thought Michigan would win by more, score more points.
I think one of us thought that as well.
Yeah,
that was Joey's pick of the week there with the over and the spread.
And
so I was kind of surprised with that.
Would have won about $500 if that would have hit. So
So yours was the only one that was wrong?
No, I only got K-State at 6. So they didn't cover me either. So
bunch of losers.
I know.
K-State.
Those damn mild cats.
The mild cats and the dinosaur parrots.
Yeah,
Actually,
we were playing Mario and putting up Christmas tree lights, and I had the Michigan game on the screen, and I'm like, no, fucking score more points. She's like, why are you cheering for both teams? And I'm like, I need a ton of points. And she's like, for
just need
what?
the points. that has got to look like such a degenerate or a weird thing, because I think most people that call it sports ball in every sport, and doesn't understand sports gambling's got to look insane, especially when you have it over and you're just cheering both sides. This is like, I thought you were a fan of Iowa State. No, I need both teams to score as many points. That's the thing.
Exactly.
See, that's what's made the NFL a little more interesting this year, because I have had money on every single game.
I mean,
and then I pick overs on 3 to 7 ball games like I did this week.
So this is what I don't get, just to jump to Road to 272, which if you do enjoy our gambling advice, we are recording tomorrow live at 8:30 again, so join us there. Otherwise, it will be in pod form, but I don't get how bad of a gambler you have to be to lose money, because every single one of us is profiting right now with our picks. And I know Ryan's under 500. He hasn't profited as much, but he's up like $200 on the year. I know you and me are Trent. You're the only one over 500, but like we've all made money this year. So like, what is the threshold? Like you have to hit only 1 in 3 bets for you to not make money.
I don't know, probably because like these bets, when I'm putting $5 on them, a lot of them I'm almost doubling my money. Like I'm winning about $9.50.
Yeah.
On a $5
you're putting
bet.
10 every game.
No, I'm putting 5.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So I'm taking, because I'm winning 450-ish.
Yeah.
So 950.
No, we're on the same wavelength now. But yeah. I was just thinking that the other day, because I was like, so you got to only win like 40% of your bets, which, I mean, that's a decent amount of losing, I guess. But anyways, we'll move on from that. Speaking of playoff teams struggling, Georgia only beat Kentucky by 10, 16-6, which shocked me a little bit. But again, I think until anyone gets Georgia remotely close, Georgia has dominated some other ranked teams. So it doesn't concern me too much, but it's weird that all these playoff teams kind of struggled this week.
Yep. Georgia, only winning by 10 on that was kind of shocking, because they've stomped everybody. And Kentucky, were they ranked at the beginning of the year? Weren't they good? And they're not ranked anymore, correct?
Correct.
I think they got to at least top 10 at one point in the year.
Yeah, like they were way up there. Yeah, I think they're trending in the wrong direction, and Georgia only beats them by 10. But yeah, what are you going to do? I mean, Georgia's clear-cut number 1 right now.
Yeah.
So they're not moving from that spot until they get beat.
Yeah, I would still take Georgia over every single other team in the nation right now.
Yeah.
Speaking of Wildcats, Dart just made an appearance there.
Yeah, he's been around me all weekend, just loving up on me being home.
USC beat UCLA 48-45, kind of barn burner, but again, they overcame a high-powered offense and outscored them. I mean, there's not really much more to say about that one.
That was a good game. That was a good game. I hadn't watched UCLA all year, or I had seen a little bit of USC, but I mean, I had to see what UCLA was about. Joey talks about them every week. They're his 7th favorite team. So, but UCLA looked good as well. I mean, they really did. They can move the ball, score a lot of points, obviously. So it was a good game.
USC went up big in that, and UCLA made a hell of a comeback to make that a 3-point game. But it should have been way of a bigger margin than that, the way USC was playing, and then they just kind of let off the gas for a little bit. So, I was proud of my Bruins.
Yeah, Caleb Williams looked good. USC, it looked like their receivers and stuff, they looked like the old USC. Like, man, they had that speed.
Yep.
Like, they're fast. Like, that's the old USC Pac-12 from 10, 15 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Lincoln's got him back. And also, did you hear he kind of apologized? He's like, hey, I understand I rubbed people the wrong way. And he kind of like have him in. He's like, I know it was a shitty way to go out, but, how do you turn down the opportunity, to be honest? You had peaked at Oklahoma already, and you were kind of regressing, to be honest. So go somewhere where winning in the past had been a thing. They're willing to pay you money. they need a flashy offense and match made in heaven.
Yep.
So, and then Oregon 20, Utah 17. I know nothing on this, just a big game, and Oregon won.
Yep, that's a big win for Oregon. Utah's looked good defensively all year, so that's a big win for Oregon. And it should be them and USC in the Pac-12 championship game, I think.
Yep.
I mean, this is what if any team scares me about kicking TCU out if they were to have a loss, it wouldn't even be the 2-loss teams. It would be USC, because right now they've moved up one because of Tennessee's loss. But USC, we talked about last week, they could have a big game versus Notre Dame and beat them, and a big game versus Oregon and beat them, and that's probably Georgia's biggest win of the year, most dominant win.
Right.
You know, I mean that can really I'm just seeing it now. Georgia, Michigan, even though TCU should be there, a fucking USC jumping them, and TCU will remain at 4. There's no way they will ever move TCU up to 3 to give them an easier path. That's just my conspiracy Big 12 brain thinking here, because we've already.
If they're undefeated, I still think if there's 3 undefeateds and there's only a fourth one, the fourth one is a 1-loss like USC or Clemson or the Big Ten loser. Man, you can't ungroup the undefeateds.
Joey, you're thinking with your Big Ten brain, because if it's a Big Ten team and does this, that makes sense. But when everyone, the elitists, they're going to go, here's a Big 12 team that only beat Iowa State by 48 points in the last week, and they beat Kansas State to win their conference. That's how they're going to say it, and they're not. Then they're going to look at USC and go, oh man, USC just beat Notre Dame, who beat Clemson and North Carolina, and they beat Oregon, who is one of Georgia's best wins. They're going to. I'm just telling you, TCU is maxed out at 4. USC jumps to 3. Whoever wins the Big Ten at 2. Georgia at 1. And this is obviously if everyone wins out the way they're supposed to.
Well, man, I can't wait for the content on that podcast, guys.
I don't even know if I'd record that. I would, but I would be furious. But I'd also be happy because I called it fucking weeks ago that TCU is maxed out at 4 right now. If they move up, I can only get happier. But I'm telling you, they're maxed out at 4 right now.
Okay.
I kind of agree with that. I mean, it's just like that clip of Stephen A. couple weeks ago. They played Oklahoma. Yeah. It's like, okay, well, if a SEC team plays Oklahoma, that's a good win.
Right.
But it's TCU beating Oklahoma. So they played lowly Oklahoma.
By the way, Texas, who Alabama only beat by 1, that is not a good win now, according to Paul Feinbaum and ESPN. So I don't think Alabama should be as high because they struggled versus Texas.
Against their second-string quarterback, too.
Yeah, exactly. That Hudson Carr, I thought he was going to do something this year, and I thought Quinn Ewers was going to do something this year. And he just kind of – sorry, when you're a 5-star quarterback and you have a perfect rating, I expect Peyton Manning, Tom Brady, or, Mahomes level – like just yards and everything, and he just he didn't do it this year. 4 losses too. So, well, let's let our anger and sadness kind of fade away a little bit. Joey, Nebraska is a 10.5 point underdog at Iowa this weekend. Over under 38. It's not even 32 like the Minnesota game. At 3:00 on the Big Ten Network. Let it go, Joey. Let's hear it.
Man, you guys know this is my favorite game of the year for the Iowa Hawkeyes. I dislike the state of Nebraska in the most hateful way possible. I've never met a Nebraska fan that even seemed decent to me. Like, they are just all arrogant asshole pricks. That being said, I respect the athletes that are on that field. They are a great bunch, and I mentioned it earlier when they got rid of Scott Frost, and even before Scott Frost, that this Nebraska team will be better without Scott Frost. They've won 2 more games since he got let go, and they are a decent team. They only lost to Minnesota by 1 point last week. I do think Iowa's a better team. I think Iowa's going to beat them by at least 14. I think Iowa's defense is on another level than what they saw last year, and I don't see Nebraska scoring. I really don't see them scoring more than maybe 7 or 10. I'd probably put it at 7 if I had to bullet to my head. But that being said, Huck the Fuskers. Go Hawks. I want another year. This would be 7 in a row for Iowa over Nebraska. So,
Yeah.
yeah, give me that all day, every day. Let's get that baby up to 20, and let's at least get it to double digits before we lose. So, yeah, go Hawks and Iowa. Yeah. I also take the under in that game if I had a pick.
So you think Iowa's basically going to win like 24-28 to 10 at most?
Yep.
I guess 28-10, that would get your cover and your under. I'd feel pretty good about that, to be honest.
I honestly would be probably more 21-7 type game, to be honest with you.
Yeah. I mean, again, as much as the skill disparity, Iowa's got the better roster, better team. I just still don't think they can just go out and go gangbusters as much as you'd want them to. But again, I know just the end of the day, you're looking for a dub there. Doesn't really matter.
Hell yes.
Or by.
Yep. I will, at one point, I will be stuck with my foot in my mouth talking shit about Nebraska, but yeah, hasn't happened in a long time. I don't want it to happen again for another long time. So keep it going. Huck the Fuskers, baby. Cheers.
Not to speak into existence, Joey, but if somehow Nebraska pulled this one out, I mean, what would your reaction be? Would you just shut off all your social medias, make sure no one could contact you?
No.
Are you just?
I'm not a baby.
Will you just be driving for hours, just not even radio off, just thinking?
I will definitely throw something on the smoker either way to either celebrate or just take my mind off of the misery that I have to live in for the next year. But yeah, it'll be. I won't turn social media off. If people want to talk shit to me, bring it on. That's fine. I'll take that all day, every day. And yeah, it is what it is at this point. It's a game. It's not something that's going to ruin my entire weekend, but I will not be happy about it. It'll ruin my entire year. So
yeah,
it's not going to ruin my weekend. It's going to ruin my year.
Exactly.
I was going to say that one. Go ahead.
I look forward to this game more than I look forward to any other game on the slate, and I've just ran into so many piece of shit Nebraska people that I just can't stand it anymore.
And I would say, are you talking like in some of this as well? Real life? Is this social media? Everyone?
Everyone. I almost got a fight in a Shields in Des Moines with a guy that was buying a Nebraska shirt. I was buying an Iowa shirt. It was Iowa State weekend, and it said beat State. It had nothing to do with Nebraska.
Yeah.
He started talking shit to me about Nebraska being better. I was like, fuck you, man. You guys are terrible. Like, you're hiring a new coach because you're so bad. We beat you like 3 years in a row. And he's like, look at this. And pulls it up. It has a big M tattoo. How many championships do you got? I was like, not enough to act like that, you fucking douchebag. So, yeah.
Hey, that N stands for knowledge.
Yeah. Sure does.
We're the bug eaters.
For the 90s. Get the fuck out of here. It's 2020s.
That's funny. Well, I agree with your assessment.
Well, thank you.
Iowa State, 10-point underdogs at number 4 TCU, over under 47.5. And again, at 3 o'clock, why would we ever want to watch just the Iowa and Iowa State game in a day? We have to make the decision here and there. But
yeah, but you guys are on Fox, though.
Yeah, we're on the Big Boy Network, I guess. We're on Fox here. Trent, I want your thoughts first.
I don't know what to think. I don't know if they've packed it in for the year or if they're going to go out and compete. Yeah. I don't know because they're not going to go to a bowl game. I guess they could get to 5-7 and get to that 5-7 bowl game. Who knows?
Yeah.
But if Iowa State does what Iowa State does, they're going to be in the game. Like they've done it all year. I guess I was thinking about that today as well on my way to work when I was listening to the Sunday Cyclone Fanatic podcast, that in years past, Iowa State, we come into this game thinking, or not this game, most of the games, God, I hope we don't get beat by 45.
Yeah.
Now we're in the game.
Yep.
Let's sneak one in here. Let's win. 10 points, I don't know. I think TCU is going to be trying to make a statement to the committee because the last time they played Iowa State in the last game of the year, they won by 55 and they dropped 2 spots. Yep. So I think TCU is going to come into this That 10 points, I don't know. I think Iowa State can keep it close, but if TCU wants to make a statement, they're going to try to win by 40. So like I said, I don't know what to expect because I don't know. Have they packed it in for the year? I don't know.
Trent, you want to hear my prediction?
Mm-hmm.
I think Iowa State covers at least. I'm not.
That's what I'm saying. With in years past, we're just like, God, I hope we don't get beat by 50. We're in all these games, so I would say if that's the thing, I would say Iowa State covers as well.
I'm looking at it, Trent. Iowa State's covered 4 of the last 5 years. The only game that we didn't cover was 2 years ago, and we missed it by half a point.
Yeah.
I mean, what makes me feel better is we're not within the 3.5 point, favorite or underdog. That is when we lose in the margins. 10 points, I feel confident by saying we're gonna. I feel confident we're gonna lose by a touchdown, but not more than 10. I say this pushes at least, and I think this is what I would. I'm not going to say lock of the week yet, but it's either going to be Iowa State covers 10 or under 47.5. I think Iowa State has some fight in them. I think we do hold them. I think TCU still wins, and this might be to the detriment of the conference. Even if TCU wins, you already know my thoughts. I think they've already maxed out TCU on the year. So
yep.
I think we got a chance here on the national stage. This is when Iowa State destroys national championship hopes for the Big 12. Thursday night, Oklahoma State in 2012, when the nation is watching, that's when we destroy it. We're on, we're on an actual big network, not ESPN Junior Plus edition. We're actually playing on cable television. This is when we show up, man. So I'm confident that we're going to at least cover. And I mean, I think we're going to scare TCU a little bit. So as much as I'm down and out on them, and again, if TCU wins by 35. Big 12's looking better for the playoffs. I can't lose this weekend, other than my team.
Iowa State could ruin it for the Big 12 again.
I mean, if you really think
11 years ago, what was that? That was like 11 years ago Sunday?
Yeah.
Did Iowa State beat Oklahoma State? Do you remember where you were that night and what you were doing? You were there.
I was at that game. So you can't really see it. It's a picture of the 37-31. I was at that game.
So you were in college then. That's
yes.
Right.
I was in college.
Little older than you. Okay.
Me and a couple buddies. We went to the game. It was second half, and we go. You know what? We're down 14 right now. Because they scored immediately in the second half. I go, if we get down by 21. Let's just go to Patty's. Let's just drink the night away and whatever. It's cold as shit. And then we started creeping back and we know how the game ends. And I stormed the field, and it was fantastic, unbelievable. One of my good friends from Iowa State at the time was somehow an Oklahoma State fan and a New York Giants fan when they were winning a Super Bowl. It was unbearable to hear how good his teams were in like the 2 years I lived with him. But I remember being on the field singing "Sweet Caroline." And he was one of like 4 people in the stands left, seeing his team losing their national championship hopes. It was a hell of a night. But I mean, again, this is when Iowa State shows up. This is when think of even last year. We ruined Oklahoma State's chances 11 years ago. Mm-hmm. We technically ruined their chances last year as well. Baylor beat them as well. But if you have an Oklahoma State team that's undefeated, going into championship Saturday, and they only lose by 3 in that type of fashion, do you not think the committee looks a little harder to potentially keep them in? I mean, we've been part of their downfall and part of the Big 12's downfall for years. So why not this year at this point?
Yeah. No, so this was right after, so about 3 months after Ryan and I moved to Kansas.
Yeah.
And we were in a bar in Mound Ridge, Kansas. And they had that game on, and there was a bunch of people in there, and everybody was going for Iowa State because I was, and I bought Yeg bombs for everybody.
Now we know why they cheered. This guy's buying Yeg bombs.
A very expensive night in Mound Ridge, Kansas. So this is, you're really young at this time, but do you know which Iowa State basketball legend is from Mound Ridge, Kansas? Point guard. After Hornacek. J.C. Holloway.
God, that didn't even sound familiar, dude.
Yeah, he was a point guard probably like when Calvin Cato was there.
Okay.
Back in those days, yeah. So, yeah, I wouldn't have known that, but I was wearing all my Iowa State stuff in that bar one night, and they're like, J.C. Holloway's from here? I'm like, no kidding. So, yeah.
Haven't we talked about J.C. Holloway before on here?
I think so.
Yeah, because I looked him up.
Excuse me. So
there's a little trivia for you.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
Johnny Orr went down to recruit him.
So Kansas, 12-point underdog at 15. Kansas State over under 62.5. That's a shit ton of points. Right after the Iowa State game at 7 o'clock on Fox. Joey, you're the biggest Kansas fan, and no, I'm just kidding. I don't know. I was hoping Clark was going to be here to give us some insight on the Sunflower Showdown here, but the big question is: does Kansas cover, or is Kansas State going to make a statement to put it in the rival's face in their best season in years?
Diet Kansas pounds the Dinosaur Parrots this game. Okay,
I agree with Trent, even with the names and everything. I love it.
Yep.
And sadly, I'd have to agree, man. Like you said, this is a completely different Kansas game from our team from the first 4 weeks. That team was incredible. I don't know where that flare came up, or maybe it's just their maybe it was just injuries. I'm not really sure, but I think Kansas State. This is just the Kansas story is too good. They got their. We were all talking about how Kansas is going to beat Texas 2 years ago, and they got throttled by Texas. Wasn't even remotely close. So I think it's more the same. I think Kansas State
and Martinez isn't playing anymore, right? Like he's hurt.
I think it's Howard. Yeah.
So I think Howard gives Kansas State a better chance to score more points as well.
Yeah.
He likes to throw the ball downfield more, whereas Martinez is a little more dink and dunk, run the ball here and there. Mm-hmm. I like Kansas State to score more points. Like I said, Kansas State pounds Kansas.
I mean, it would not shock me one bit with how good Kansas's offense can be. Now, Kansas State's offense, I'm sorry. Kansas's defense can make some stuff happen, but I think the more you look at it where I'm going, oh my God, Kansas's defensive line looked incredible versus Iowa State. That number 47 on the defensive line that was just creating havoc all game. I think you look back and go, man, our line has just been awful all year, you know?
Yeah, if you watch Iowa State's offensive line now, you're like, ugh, maybe their defensive line wasn't so good.
Yeah.
Hey, kids, look, a deer.
I thought you two would enjoy that.
Yeah, don't you worry. That's my favorite movie of all time. Not even, like I said, not Christmas movie, favorite movie.
I got a Christmas movie question after. We'll power through this real quick. I think Kansas State wins by 3 touchdowns. I think they're going to make a statement to try and get themselves ready and amped up for TCU. And I think over 62.5, to be honest. I think this is just going to be offense galore.
Yep.
So, Joe, you got any thoughts on this, or could you care less about it?
Oh, no, I really think Kansas State is the much better team. I think Kansas would have a better chance if Kansas State played Adrian Martinez, but there's that.
I'd agree.
I would love to see him and Nebraska's actual quarterback throw like 3 interceptions each. Should be fine.
Yeah. Christmas movies and Christmas songs, Christmas whatever. When is the earliest you'll indulge in any of it?
I watch Christmas Vacation anytime. But
okay, you said that's your favorite movie, so I'll use that. Other than Christmas Vacation, when do you put up the tree or listen to Christmas music movies? We had a debate over
Black Friday.
Joey?
November 1st.
So I take that back. Hey, Christmas tree. All right.
Oh.
No. So my inside decorations will go up on Black Friday. I put up my Christmas lights, not this past Friday or past Sunday, but the Sunday before.
Yeah.
Because it was actually the warmest day in the foreseeable future in South Dakota. So I put them up. I wasn't going to turn them on until Black Friday. But I put them up when Amelia was taking a nap. Amelia wakes up. She goes to the front window and looks out and goes, "What's that, Daddy?" She sees them.
Oh,
Well,
no.
then you got to turn them on. So mine have
Yeah.
been on for a week and a half now.
Trent, just because I like you, I'm going to use those excuses. I agree with when it's warm, put the lights up.
Yeah.
Nothing worse than putting up Christmas lights when it's fucking freezing. Joey, you're just completely wrong. November 1st. There's a reason. I'd say the absolute earliest you can put up your Christmas tree and listen to music. And for me, Home Alone 1 and 2 are some of my favorite movies. I can't watch them until at least Thanksgiving evening. You have to get through the meal. You have to give your thanks in order to receive things for Christmas. That's just one humble man's opinion. You can't bypass Thanksgiving and just Christmas the whole time. You're not giving thanks.
Joey's going to leave him up all year long now.
Oh,
Right. See, I'm not home enough to actually be able to see them, so I had to put everything up early. Most years, I would agree with you, though. I don't like a lot of stuff up till Thanksgiving, but I knew, one, I was going to be busy this week, and two, I just didn't want to do shit because I have days off finally. So I put everything up early and just kind of slowly put it together.
So I could see last night when we were doing the podcast, whatever that on your ceiling, all the lights, they're above that window. And I was like, what the hell is that? Well, it makes sense now.
Yep.
So I guess what night was that? It was like Friday night. I was just looking through the channels, and Elf I noticed was on like TNT. So I clicked Elf on. That's a classic.
Nice.
I like Elf.
Trent, you're moving away from I was with you, but I don't know. People are gonna hate me for it. Elf's overrated. I'm sorry. I like the classics. I can watch Elf. It's good, but when people say it's their favorite Christmas movie, I judge them.
Now I do respect the hell out of Will Ferrell
Yep.
for saying that he didn't make an Elf 2 because he didn't want to keep going on that because Elf 1 was so good that he didn't want to ruin it. I respect Will Ferrell for that.
Yep. My favorite Christmas movie of all time is still the one that is the reason I was born when I was Christmas Story. I was supposed to be born on the 25th. My mom's water broke on the 20th watching Christmas Story and laughing so hard.
Why the hell didn't she name you Ralphie? Ralphie Mahosky, dude.
Right? That'd be awesome. I'd take that. Ralphie.
Or even middle name. You could be Joey Ralphie Mahosky.
Oh, yes.
Now, speaking of Elf, this is a real question for you. Blonde or brunette, Zooey Deschanel?
Ooh, brunette.
Yeah, I agree. Brunette. Sorry. I just had Trent, are you blonde?
Well, she's blonde in Elf, right?
Yeah.
Because you know how much movies I watch. I couldn't name another movie she's in, so I don't know.
New
Take her for a New Girl.
You don't watch
because I've seen that.
I'm sure. Give me 1 second. I apologize for everyone watching live. I just have to. Blonde.
Kansas State to Christmas movies, real quick here.
I put Zooey Deschanel, and before I had Deschanel, it said blonde versus brunette. I mean, people are asking the question here. All right.
Yeah.
All right. Sorry, I'll get the screen shared here in a couple seconds.
But what else is she in? Like,
there you go.
What's one thing that I have seen that she is actually in besides Elf?
I mean, I don't know, Trent. You haven't seen? Oh shit, you hardly see anything there. I don't know, Trent. I'm just trying. Look up blonde Zooey Deschanel. I think that's about the best you're going to get brunette there on the.
I've seen Elf, so I've seen her blonde. So
yeah, okay. So now you've seen brunette. Which do you choose?
Yeah.
I think the glasses is throwing it off too. That adds a little something extra.
Oh man. Oh yes.
You guys both going brunette then, or what?
Yeah, I'm going brunette.
Okay, yeah, I can see that.
Okay,
I suppose I could stop sharing.
Yeah, you can stop sharing and we can move on to actual college football. We went down a Christmas path all of a sudden here.
Yeah, we can start the Christmas pod next week after Thanksgiving, guys.
Exactly, after Thanksgiving. Thank you.
Yes, we'll do one Black Friday.
Other big. Well, I don't know if this is a rivalry, but this is during rivalry weekend here. Number 21 Tulane at 25 Cincinnati. Number 24 North Carolina State, and number 13 North Carolina. The biggest game of the weekend. Number 3 Michigan at number 2 Ohio State, and then number 18 Notre Dame at 7 USC. Another one with implications. Auburn at Alabama. Which is your biggest game? I'm sorry. Let's just talk about Michigan Ohio State. That's the biggest game.
No. When I think rivalry week, I think Tulane and Cincy. Okay.
Hey, that's the new Big 12. We got to support them every way we can.
No, yeah, Michigan Ohio State. Really can't wait to watch this. And even that USC game, dude. Watching them last week, I kind of want to watch them again. They're fun to watch.
Notre Dame USC would be my second choice on this. I'm actually going to put a blog together tomorrow. It'll be on inthezone.studio of my favorite non-Iowa State rivalries. And I'm going to do all sports. So
Nice.
Little teaser, Michigan Ohio State is my number 2. Just putting it out there. Yep.
Ooh, it's
Michigan
so
Ohio
dramatic.
State football is my number 2.
I can see that. And again, these are just two teams. Michigan finally has got to this point after years. But I mean, they're both schools that just reload. NFL talent throughout. Michigan for years has tried to catch up to Ohio State, and now they are back at that level. I was thinking about this earlier. Which coach would you, if Iowa fires a coach, Iowa State fires their coach, are you taking Ryan Day or are you taking Jim Harbaugh?
Ooh.
Harbaugh.
Oh,
I think he's done more at Michigan because Michigan was down more when he took over than Ryan Day when he took over Ohio State.
I mean,
I feel
Brady
like
Hoke had 10 wins before they let him go and then brought in Jim Harbaugh.
I just feel like Ohio State was higher when Day took over.
I would agree. Well, I mean, because Urban left on his own accord, not got fired. Jesus Christ!
Yeah.
I'm like someone from Nebraska. Have another Busch Light. So yeah, I guess I could see that. I just think Ryan Day has a special eye for college football talent. I know we always harp on Ohio State quarterbacks not doing well in the NFL, but holy fuck, do they do good in the NCAA?
Yep. They always do every single time.
So I think he's got a good eye for talent that way. And at Iowa, it's all about the quarterback. I mean, you saw this year when Petras sucks, Iowa's terrible. And then when Petras is not terrible, Iowa's pretty damn fucking good. So, yeah I'll take Ryan Day, I think.
Maybe it's just the Iowa State in us that makes us think together. I would kind of agree with the Jim Harbaugh just because we've seen him grow the program. He really picked up Michigan, number 2 in all-time wins, really grew that program up to something it could be.
They were really down.
Yeah, but I agree. It just feels like Ryan Day kind of inherited. And again, we saw what happened to Lincoln Riley. He inherited a national power that won 12 games every year, and then he regressed. So Ryan Day is continuing to develop the talent, and and I mean, when we saw the Rose Bowl last year, you saw receiver's name, Joey. I can't remember it off the top of my head. Njigba.
Dude, nuts,
we saw him. Yeah, we're going. He is going to be the wide receiver of the year. He's going to be the best player. He's not even the best wide receiver on his team anymore. Marvin Harrison Jr. So I mean, it's just. I mean, that's where I always struggle to say Ryan Day's just.
Iowa State should have hired Harbaugh when they hired Chizik because he was on the short list. And they hired Chizik.
Brian Kelly.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, Brian Kelly, Harbaugh.
Ryan, you're welcome.
But we got Gene Chizik.
Yeah.
Made a coin after they beat Iowa. Made a coin with his face on it.
I think Gene Chizik, once he got to Auburn, he is number 2 all-time best college football coach that looked the other way while his players were getting paid and they won a national championship. He was second best in history to just look away while crimes are being committed behind him. Number 1, Joe Pa, of course.
Oh, I thought you were – well, yeah, Joe Pa. Yeah. Could you say he's number 2, though? I mean, like Urban Meyer when he was at Florida?
Okay, you can convince me. I was going for a joke. But maybe we can start coming up with a top 5 list.
There we go.
Coaches with the least amount of morals.
Gene Chizik.
Gene Chizik.
Who is the Baylor coach?
Art Briles.
Art Briles, yeah.
Yep.
Oh,
gotta go. Pete Carroll's gotta be up there somewhere, but his stuff's all legal now. So
I can never get it out of my head that the video of when Gene Chizik gets off the airplane at Auburn,
Mm-hmm.
and like there's a dude, you can just hear him yelling, "We want a winner, not a loser." Like I just can't get that. Just runs through my mind when I think of that video. We want a winner.
Everyone.
And then he won a
Wow.
national championship.
Yeah, but he was the fastest coach to ever win a national championship to getting fired.
Oh yeah,
Now that's tied with Ed Ogeron now, isn't it?
right. I think so.
Yeah.
Okay. It just means more in the SEC. We just don't have loyal to our coaches that win national championships. So
Right. Why would you?
yeah, Notre Dame, USC. God, we went on a fucking tangent.
Sorry. I gotta keep going on this. What year did they win that national championship with Jameis?
Jameis?
Or not
14.
Jameis, Cam Newton, sorry.
Cam Newton, that would have been
16?
No, they were in the Cam Newton played in the Super Bowl in probably
I think it was
16.
That's what I'm thinking of.
2010, I think.
So here's the deal. Yeah, 2010, he could have won a national championship at Iowa State in 2010 and lost every game since. And I guarantee we'd still love him and he'd still be the coach.
Hey, banners fly forever. That's every time
That's
when
right.
people are, talking about the Chiefs. That's what Rams fans are doing this year. Oh, your team's absolute dog shit in Stafford. Look up at the banners.
Hey, if the Vikings ever did that, that would be me. If Iowa State ever won a national championship, that'd be me. I mean, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, no, I mean it is. I apologize for Super Bowl IV, Trent. I don't know how many more times I can say it to you, but that one really struck a chord in our friendship.
Or the other three that the Vikings lost.
Yeah, we could talk all night about Vikings failures, but we only have 38 minutes left on this pod, so
we could talk all night about just Sundays, their failure.
Oh no. Well, true. That is very true. All
right.
Any other big games that you guys want to talk about, or are you good?
I'm good for this weekend. I like this list here. Michigan, Ohio State. I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah,
I'm looking forward to everything in the Big Ten West this weekend just to see how that all fucking plays out. Pretty sure Iowa wins. They go to Indy, but I'm not 100% sure on that. So, yeah.
You ever seen that episode of The Simpsons where Sideshow Bob, he's in a field of rakes that are on the ground, and he just steps and he keeps hitting his face with rakes? That's just every Big Ten West team, including Iowa. Well, Iowa just stepped on the least amount of rakes.
So far, we'll see what happens. But yeah,
is this Iowa win they're in?
I'm pretty sure.
Because Iowa beat that was the one tiebreaker that could have been Minnesota. So they controlled their destiny if they won out.
Man.
But I thought Illinois could still pull out somehow. Maybe not.
Just think, Trent, if Iowa State played in a weak conference like Big Ten West, we could be getting throttled by Ohio State by 60 in 2 weeks. Some of us just aren't so lucky, though.
Yeah. It just amazes me that 5-6 weeks ago, I mean, we were talking about Iowa and how bad they were in their offense. And I mean, Joey would agree, like, to going and playing in their conference championship game. It's just amazing to me.
Oh, I still want to.
Good for them.
I still fucking want to fire Brian Ferentz.
Yeah,
get the fuck out of here.
I get it, but good for Iowa. Like
Trent, 7-8 weeks ago, we were talking about why don't the voters respect Iowa State more, and why aren't we in the top 25? Damn it! And
yeah. I mean, this is what happens when you have a big conference and have divisions. And I'm not saying the Big Ten's better or anything, but that's what I hope for. Any expansions and like big ass conferences and stuff is winning your fucking division and then moving on to your championship game. Like, if we want to be completely honest, Iowa has a chance to go to a fucking Rose Bowl if they win the Big Ten championship and disrupt every fucking thing, which would be amazing.
Now, hold on. I've looked this up. I'm pretty sure the Rose Bowl committee can still bypass Iowa.
They can, unless they win the Big Ten championship.
Shit. Yeah, because the champion, it's only if Ohio – say you and Ohio State, let's just say in there. Ohio State wins. That's what happened last year. Michigan won, and they go,
Yeah.
well, Ohio State is better than a bigger draw than Iowa, so we're going to throw them in the Rose Bowl.
Yeah, exactly. That's it.
Okay.
And that's the way that can happen is if the winner gets to go to the college football playoff, and it's just the Rose Bowl committee picks.
Well-
So so here we go. So let's say Iowa beats Ohio State in the Big Ten championship game. The committee would be able to put
No.
Georgia, if LSU wins their championship game, somehow if all hell breaks loose in the Pac-12, USC gets beat, they could get Bama in there,
And
3 SEC teams. You hear this go? That's the committee's wiener hitting the back of their zipper right now.
Ding! Yeah.
With Ohio State being your fourth as a one-loss
dropping TCU.
Yep.
Undefeated. Ooh.
I would only accept that chaos if we beat TCU and we make the First Responders Bowl. That would be the only thing I'd be happy with that. So, Trent, you bring up the scenario where Iowa wins the Big Ten and everything in the Rose Bowl. So I have an equally probable question. If Kate Upton answers my DMs, where do I take her to dinner in Ames? I just don't know at this point.
Hickory Park? Is there any other answer?
Fucking bebops, baby.
I'll take her. I'll take her to Hickory Park and I go, if you like some smoked meats, how about you like this little smoky? And then things really start to go.
She leaves Justin Verlander.
Who just won a World Series for a podcaster that gets dozens of listens.
I mean, you take her to Fighting Burrito. Whew.
Oh,
Didn't they go out of business? Didn't they?
I wonder if I could
close.
They
closed.
did?
Yeah.
Oh. I wonder if I could call them right now. They still have my order saved from 15 years ago.
No,
Dude, they were revolutionary with having the webcam on their website of the line, so you could see if there was a line or not.
Yep.
Before you went in.
I remember ordering from Brady's, and I had like 7 different orders saved for who was with me for that weekend. I used every single one saved multiple times. So yeah.
So as many times as we partied at that house on West Street, I literally right across the street from West Street Deli, never went in there.
Really?
Yeah.
Dude, legit, dude.
Man. We went there quite a few times.
Yeah, they give
Next
you
time
the biggest Reubens you'll ever have in your life.
Oh, well, that's disgusting. So
Okay. We might need to throw some fisticuffs if you're going to start insulting Reubens in front of me.
I'm not insulting West Street Deli. I'm just Reubens as a whole. Not.
I don't know. I'm kind of up there. I think Reubens are legit. You know who has an underrated Reuben is Arby's.
Oh, well.
But
So
I'm also kind of a trash person. So
next time I come to Ames, we'll hit up West Street Deli just to check it out.
sounds good. You let me know when and where, and we'll get it done.
Well, we already know the where.
Well, yeah. Hey, let's just move on. You fuck. Jesus.
I feel like I've done a really good job of changing subjects and getting this thing off the rails tonight.
No.
Oh yeah, it's been great.
I love it. That's what it's about. That's what the College Football Pod's about. Is about discussing Reubens. Okay.
Yes.
Fucking chaos.
And Christmas movies.
And the chick from Elf.
Yeah.
Zoe Deschanel. Put some fucking respect on her name. Okay.
I didn't know what her name was.
Huck the Fuskers.
Oh,
Jesus.
Let's bring Joey down a little bit. Our Week 12 picks, Joey. What were your picks?
Michigan, Illinois over 40.5.
Ugh.
I had a second one of Michigan covering the -18. Neither hit. So yeah, that's
Not even remotely close.
Yeah, Blake Corum being hurt in the second half really hurts. So yeah, that sucks. Hopefully he's better for this week because I really want them to beat Ohio State because I've been touting that for a couple weeks.
We've got one more week, one more regular season week, in order to put our picks together to get a parlay for our audience so they can win some big money. Otherwise, we're going to have to start putting bets on bowl games and figure out what we need to do to parlay on that.
Right.
Well, just don't parlay it. Just bet every one of our games. Like
That's
we've been over 500 every week.
I'm telling you, man, I don't get why. I do get why people parlay. They love the risk of higher payouts, but like, I legitimately think after doing the road to 272, Why don't I just put $20 down on every NFL game on a spread or over under and shit, and just make some legitimate money on the side by betting one game at a time? I get the parlays. You have a good high risk of winning a lot of money, but you could just lose it all immediately because a parlay, because one team fucks you on every single parlay.
I mean, if you have the capital to put it down the first week and then back it up the second week, by then you should be winning money.
That's what I'm saying. Every single one of us is productive.
Mhm.
We're just talking ourselves into being bigger fucking degenerate gamblers at this point.
I do the parlay just because I want to represent the podcast and pick all of our games in the same pool. But yeah, if I would have done $4 on each one, I probably would have won like $40.
So here's what you could do. You put a bet down on all of our bets, all 5, and then a 6th bet is the parlay of all of our bets.
Yeah.
And so the money you make on the bets, that the single bets, is going to pay for your parlay if you lose the parlay. So
you're breaking even.
Well, you're probably still, even if we go 4-1 or 3-2, you're still making money.
I'm still pissed about that UFC parlay from 2 weeks ago, but I would have won so much fucking money on.
Too much money. Let's move on so we don't think about it. Trent, you had, in your real pick, you had TCU at Baylor over 56.5. That hit.
57. Vegas knows.
Trent was watching that miracle field goal. That's all he was thinking was the over's about to hit.
Yep.
So you had jokingly had Kansas money line versus Texas. I think I had jokingly Tennessee covering 22 because we were looking for crazy ass spreads, and they lost the biggest game of the fucking weekend. But
that was the biggest loss by a top 5 team in like 100 years, I think.
Well, I didn't hear that.
South Carolina ran out of fireworks.
Oh, the old Chiefs technique, huh? Don't order enough and make it seem like it's a big deal.
Yeah, I think it was 100 years. That was the worst loss by a top 5 team in 100 years.
Wow. Well, the rest of us were homers in our picks. Clark we told him that he had Kansas State covering. They did with ease. Iowa State under 47.5, called it. And then Ryan had LSU minus 15 because we told him about it, and they throttled UAB. A true contender. That's why they moved up to 5th.
Yep.
So week 13, Joey, you're going to redeem yourself. What do you got?
Iowa to fucking cover minus 10.5. Go Hawks, baby. Huck the fucking Fuskers. I'd pick this if the negative billion was the spread. Give me this. Give me the Hawks all day.
Ooh, that's bold. I mean, I like it. I mean, I don't see Iowa losing to Nebraska, but 10.5. I mean, that game's always close.
24-7. Mark it down.
All right.
Mark it.
All right. I hope it hits. I hope you're right.
Me too. I need someone to put the bet in for me.
Iowa 24. I'm just writing this down so we don't forget it for next week. 7.
Bold prediction.
Trent, what do you got?
So I've tried to do my bold predictions. I think every week I've done a Big 12 except for 2 weeks. This is one of those 2. I'm going Florida State covers 9.5 over Florida. Florida just got beat by Vanderbilt.
What the fuck happened to them?
Yeah, they're not good. So yeah, Florida State beats Florida by 9.5.
Remember earlier in the year when they had like a QB controversy? They were ranked top 5. They had that one really good quarterback not KJ Jefferson, that's Arkansas, but another quarterback prototypical of him that was running the ball and everything. And now Emory Jones, thank you. And now they just fucking suck and lose to Vanderbilt. Jesus.
There's the patch about right here on their jerseys. To begin the season, it's got 3 letters on it.
And that patch has changed sides since the podcast started. I love it.
Yeah. Wow. It depends on what team.
Neither of you guys are on TikTok, but when Joey
said,
what's that? Oh,
yes,
you are. Yeah.
You send me shit all the time.
I send it to I send a bunch of them to you. But if you have TikTok and you don't follow him, follow James Draws, because the best and worst thing that can happen is when there's a big upset like that, he will make a big video about going like, and this would be Florida. What happened? How'd you lose the bet? And it's every single upset of the week. he hit both Iowa State. He hasn't had a Chiefs one yet, but he hit Iowa State a couple weeks ago when they lost to Oklahoma State because the kid's from Oklahoma, and it hurt me because for months I've been laughing at every single team. USC shit in the bed. I'm sorry, the Vikings had one last week. Oh, it's been awesome. And then when he hits your team, you have to accept it. You've laughed in so many people's faces. So if you don't follow him on TikTok, James Draws, he's fucking awesome.
It'd be interesting to see like how many followers he has, and then when that TikTok drops, if his followers drop, like 3,500 Iowa State fans just unfollowed me. Like,
honestly, it feels like an honor. It's like, oh, he recognizes my team, but he followed. It used to only be NFL, and now he's gone to college football, and everyone, like, literally every comment's like, James, I've been dreading this. Please don't make my team. Like, every single one person just fucking regretting it. But we got Clark. He has Kansas State covering 12 versus KU. KU can't stop the run. Deuce Vaughn gonna eat is what he says, all caps.
Hell yeah!
I would tend to agree.
Purple Kansas.
So, Ryan, he has OU to cover 2 points at Texas Tech. Again, Oklahoma's always going to have the talent. I don't know if Venables is the guy, dude. Trent called it from the very beginning, but they're 6-5 now. I mean, if Oklahoma, I think there's a decent shot Oklahoma covers this, but Oklahoma's is a year from going 10 wins isn't good enough with Lincoln Riley, or 9 wins or whatever. We got to get out of here. And you're about to go 7-5 and go to the First Responders Bowl. I mean, dear Lord, just the fall from grace. I hope Venables can get it put together, because I was hoping that, defensive-minded coach, Iowa State, get a couple good games for some of these next 2 years. But I don't know, man. I don't know if he's got it.
Yeah, I think with Texas Tech, though, I'm with you. I think they cover that. But, man, what will that put them at? 8-4?
7-5.
7-5, okay. So, yeah, they're going to go to the lower tier bowl. Like, they're not used to that. Good luck in the SEC, I guess.
Yeah, we're in the age where Auburn fired their coach less than 2 years. I think if Venables has another slow start next year, I think they get rid of him. They have to set them. They have to set themselves up for a good coach going into the SEC. But because if Venables can't do it in 2 years in the Big 12, you better have a little bit of time to get it figured out before you get to the SEC. But and then I'm just going to keep riding the Iowa State under wave here. I have Iowa State under 47.5. Like I said, I think this is going to be another lower scoring game. I think TCU still wins probably, but I think we even cover the 10 points. My money is going to be on the under, though. Just with our offense is putrid.
I like that.
So, well, we've hit the end. We've been rambling a lot. We laughed, we cried, we talked about Christmas vacation.
Any other random topics you guys want to talk about? We got another 22 minutes.
We can, everyone that doesn't want to listen to random topics, they can just shut it off at this point on the pod. But anything else you boys want to talk about?
This is where we get good. This is the good part.
Are you two going to be on tomorrow night for the road to 272?
Yeah, man.
Okay, I was going to bring up what we're making for Thanksgiving. We can wait and do that tomorrow night, though. So,
what would make what?
What we're making for Thanksgiving. If anyone's
I'm still deciding on that. I should have an answer by tomorrow.
So, should I just have my wife be on that one, or
that's fine? I enjoy sending Snapchats of food to your wife. She enjoys them too, I think. So.
Yeah, dude, she could be a legit chef.
Oh yeah,
she could.
I don't doubt it.
Yeah.
I would say I always feel weird whenever I see people cooking good food on like Snapchat, and I'm always just like, God, that looks delicious. And then I'm asking them just asking them how the hell they made it and stuff. But yeah, I'm trying to figure out if I want to make a side or I'm never going to be the guy I think that bakes or fries a turkey. I'm too scared to like burn down my house if I deep fried it. But
no, you go to Walmart. You buy the Butterball indoor turkey fryer. It's electric.
Okay. I
got mine in my garage. You don't want that inside because the inside of your house is going to smell like a fried turkey for a long time. So I've never done anything in the house with it. It's always been in the garage, but we do wings on it. We did do a turkey this summer in it. corn dogs. You know, if we fry fish, it's awesome.
Ooh, fish, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right,
Nice.
real quick. I thought of a way to turn this into college football related. I'm gonna name just anyone in college football and let me know what Thanksgiving item it reminds you of. Kirk Ferentz. For me, the reason I thought of it is because I say Kirk Ferentz, I think of the white meat on turkey. Just like it's not the flavorful part, you know, it can be dry at times, but you'll still eat it.
It's the thing that dictates how you create the rest of your plate because you put that white piece of turkey on there. Do you put gravy on it? Do you put your cranberry sauce next to it? How many potatoes and to it? I agree with that. Yeah.
I was gonna say the cranberry sauce that comes out of a can that keeps the shape of the can because it's disgusting, and I don't want it.
I don't respect, but hey, guess what? It consistently sells every year in and year out.
Exactly.
That canned cranberry sells, my friend.
Exactly. People buy it. It's
never
gross.
Ever had that in my life, and I never ever will.
I've never. Well, I say it's gross, but I've never tried it, and I'm not going to.
Nope, not even close. All right, that was good. Give me another one.
Matt Campbell.
Stuffing.
Ooh. Yeah, I like that.
Why? Explain your reason. Why stuffing?
Because I think it's nasty, but most people that I grew up with love it, and I know it's a big thing, and it's moving in the right direction.
So here's mine. I like stuffing.
See,
it wins the margins.
Oh, get the fuck out of here with this stuffing winning in the margins.
No, I like the stuffing is my favorite part of Thanksgiving meal. It's better than the turkey. And here's the thing. It can't be homemade. It's got to be stovetop, okay?
Yep.
None of that homemade stuff, stovetop. It's my favorite part of the meal. So
I would say mashed potatoes because it is really, really good. Some people think mashed potatoes are overrated, but right now I've had just scalloped potatoes in the past. I've had potatoes off the ground. I'm used to bad potatoes. I am perfectly fine with content mashed potatoes. If I can get a little gravy on top, I'm happy, but I'll just take normal mashed potatoes at that point.
Here's a question for you. Mashed potatoes.
Yeah.
We should just do a Thanksgiving food pod, okay?
Yeah.
Mashed potatoes. And I know I'm going to get a response from Dave. Okay. Yeah. Mashed potatoes. Do you like them completely creamy or do you like the little lumpy little chunks in there?
Lumpy. I'll take either, but I kind of like lumpy, a little chewing in there.
Oh, I prefer lumpy with a little bit of skin.
Oh, I love that too. And I know Dave is going to jump into this, and he's probably like dry heaving right now because we all three went against him. He doesn't. I just remember family Thanksgivings, lumpy potatoes, not his thing.
So speaking of puking from potatoes, I remember my freshman year of wrestling had Thanksgiving at our house, and in the middle of the night I woke up and ate the rest of the potatoes. Well, the next morning, Jay Miller always made us have wrestling practice at like 6 a.m. Fucking stupid. And we got done with practice, and he's like, all right, we're going to go for 10-minute runs with sprint intervals. And I was like, no, I'm not. And he's like, what do you mean? And I vomited all over the showers and just had to wash it down. That's how I spent Thanksgiving.
But if you're going to puke, that's where you puke is in the showers. You immediately wash it down.
Yeah, exactly. I remember him looking at me. He's like, since you puked in here, you don't have to run. You're fine.
You've lost your weight. You're good.
Yeah.
This one just specifically Joy. Nebraska football, just overall, what does that remind you on Thanksgiving of?
Whenever you get the shits from the next day, I have no idea.
No.
It's all terrible.
Nebraska football is the cranberry sauce.
Yeah, there we go. I would say it reminds me of the uncle that's past his prime, but talks to you about how good he was back in the day and how his football team would have beat your football team and stuff. That's what just Nebraska football reminds me of.
That's what I'm going to do this year with the boys. They haven't even played football yet, so.
You know what it is actually, like if we're going to keep it on food level, it's that it's the turkey. It was very delicious and juicy. but now you're on day 4 of having to reheat the leftovers. That's Nebraska football right now. It's 4-day-old turkey reheatable, just awful.
Yep.
Yeah.
That
I
or
like that.
your grandma puts the bread out like right away with butter, and it's homemade bread and it tastes amazing. And then right before you go to eat, it's been out for 4 hours, so everyone can snack on it. And it's hard as a rock, and you can't fucking do anything with it. So, yeah. That's it.
So what's all your takes on pumpkin pie?
I love it.
Take it or leave it.
I
I
I'm
will
the same
eat it
way,
if it's in
like,
front of me.
yeah, I'm gonna eat it on Thanksgiving, but
Yep.
I'm not eating that big ass chunk of crust.
Oh,
at the
right.
back. Too
Yeah.
dry.
Yep.
I saw a man on TikTok, the most disgusting thing I've ever seen. Not even like real life most disgusting, but he bought a pie crust, and you could make your filling and put it in there. He bought like 4 cans of refried beans and put like a little milk in there and mixed it up. And then he baked it, and it looked just exactly like pumpkin pie. I want to do that prank so badly to someone. That would be incredible.
I know what Brian's bringing to Thanksgiving on
Oh, yeah.
Thursday.
And then, because then you serve it to the first person, you all get your laughs, and then you bring tortilla chips, and then you can just eat refried beans
Right.
afterwards.
Put some salsa on there.
Yeah.
Brian, do you remember when TJ and I lived in North Liberty and we got Casey's that one night? I think you were there, and we ordered a taco pizza, and it came without all the like lettuce and tomatoes. It was just the refried beans with beef and cheese on it.
Yes.
And the guy's like, I looked at this, they screwed it up. I'll go get you another taco pizza. And I'm like, oh shit, okay. I bring it in. I was like, oh god, they have to get us another taco pizza. We'll see what this looks like. We ate that faster than we ate the rest of it. It was fucking awesome.
Well, I mean, it would just be chips and refried beans, and
Right.
I mean
Exactly.
the stuff you'd eat anyways.
Right. So yeah, it was awesome.
I'm trying to think of like any Nick Saban. What does that remind you of on Thanksgiving foods?
That cornucopia thing that's in the middle, like very traditional, has to be at every single Thanksgiving. And
You got the pumpkins coming out of it and the gourds.
It's not a party or a playoff unless Alabama's there.
Unless a cornucopia is there. It was there at the first Thanksgiving or playoffs. I mean, I really like that one.
Shows up every year somehow.
Yeah. Invited or not, it's there.
Some people don't want it there, but here it comes.
Oh my goodness, I'm trying to think. Steve Sarkisian.
Ooh.
He's the drunk uncle.
Oh no! Oh come on, that was a low blow.
It's a low blow. He shows up to USC booster events, boozed out of his mind.
He had drinks every week in the Falcons booth.
I'm trying to think because it varies, but what's the most overrated Thanksgiving food? Because I've already said turkey, which I think is the most overrated Thanksgiving food. Why every year? If you make it bad, but
for me, it's stuffing. I hate stuffing.
I love stuffing.
I don't know,
dude, I don't know. My Thanksgiving for me, turkey, stuffing, mashed potatoes and gravy, and put that gravy over everything. Now, green bean casserole, I don't know. Like, I like it. I'll eat it. But those other 3, those are the GOAT. Okay.
Which is the one with marshmallows? Is that yams or sweet potatoes?
Oh, take those.
They're the same, aren't they?
You scoop them.
Yeah.
You walk to the trash and throw them in there.
That's what I'm going to, because it's the same color too as Texas burnt orange. It's those sweet potatoes and mashed potatoes. It's overrated. Everyone that likes sweet potato, what just disgusting. Yeah, so that'll be my pick is those sweet potatoes with marshmallows.
Yeah, you take the pan, you turn it over, and just shake it over the trash.
And then whoever brought it, you give them one of these. You give them a backhand, and you say never again.
Next year, you're not invited.
Yeah.
So
I'm writing you out of my will.
My Thanksgiving foods are Busch Light, have a turkey, have a ham, mashed potatoes, corn, green beans at some point, whether it's casserole or not. You got some rolls, and then pumpkin pie, apple pie. And that'd be perfect Thanksgiving for me. And then later on, you get drunk, hang out with the family, and some other family member brings out some deer jerky and some deer sticks, and then you all munch on that while you're watching football, and half the people sleep, half the people go in and play cards, back and forth.
Man,
Okay.
sounds like a day.
And this year, it's just Rochelle and I. We're just hanging out. I'm going to smoke a turkey breast, and she's making potatoes. I'm making corn, and we're buying a pie.
Hell yeah.
Sounds like a good day.
Yeah, should be fun.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I'm kind of running out of people that we all would have an opinion on for Thanksgiving foods. I think we're running out of Thanksgiving foods anyways.
Yeah, I think so.
Only other thing, Planes, Trains, Automobiles is the best Thanksgiving movie ever. Have you guys ever seen it?
Yes. Yep.
I would say I've been trying to find it on streaming to like rewatch it this Thanksgiving. I just never find it.
Love it when the cop pulls him over. Any of the gauges work. Well, funny thing is, no, but the radio works fine.
Yes.
And the car is just destroyed.
Oh,
yeah.
I gotta find that. I would say I don't know what it would be on. Planes, Trains, Automobiles. It is on AMC Plus. Maybe I'll finally watch. Oh, it's on Paramount Plus too. Maybe I'll finally get AMC Plus so I can watch the final season of Better Call Saul at this point.
There you go.
So, best Thanksgiving song is Alice's Restaurant Massacre. Listen to that. It's awesome.
What?
Yep. My dad turned us on to it's 13 minutes. We listened to it coming down to the Kansas City Chiefs game that we all came down to.
Alice's what?
Restaurant Massacre.
Okay, I got it. I'm downloading it right now.
It's 18 minutes and 37 seconds.
You want to know how much I respect your opinion, Joey? Is that I'm about to listen to a 13-minute song under your recommendation.
No,
Arlo Guthrie from 1967.
Yep, this is straight from Slow Ride.
Okay. All right.
Oh,
yeah.
Is that going to play us out here or what?
I mean, we can. Yeah.
Play it lightly in the background. Fuck
we'll
it.
Probably get taken.
Yeah,
we'll probably get taken down off of YouTube if we do that.
We're gonna form the Pulse of the Heartland versus Arlo Guthrie in some bullshit DMCA fucking
You can't
lawsuit.
play trademarked music on our website.
We are an anti-Arlo Guthrie podcast now.
Yeah.
All we're gonna say is Arlo Guthrie, Cutter. Just, oh fuck! Before it turns for the worse, Joey, you want to hit him with the socials real quick?
I sure can. As always, hit us up at Heartland Pulse on Twitter and Instagram. Look us up on Facebook, Pulse of the Heartland. YouTube us, just search Pulse of the Heartland as well. As I mentioned before, we're always live, 8:30 Central Time, usually Monday, Wednesday, Thursdays, but sometimes we'll differentiate with the holidays and stuff. Find everything we do on inthezone.studio. That's our new platform and our big company that we're going to start growing with. And you can also find other bloggers that have a bunch of other stuff from NFL Power Rankings to WWE, all kinds of stuff. So look us up on inthezone.studio. And then, as always, tomorrow this will be a podcast in podcast form and on all your major streaming platforms.
Hell yeah. Well, again, we do appreciate you guys joining in live, and we'll catch you tomorrow. And everyone, have yourself a great Thanksgiving here.
See you tomorrow.
See ya.